Challenge your potential and the sky's the limit. Join me, Emily Ibbott, in A Diary to Empower. From a starting point of a love for dance, my life has evolved, but along the way, I've learned so much in how we develop, learn and grow from those around us to elevate us even further on. Be inspired and be open to learn, and no limit will ever exist. Come along with me on my own journey in personal development, but with guests who have empowered me and are still doing so in my own journey. Hello and welcome back. This is super exciting, and I have the boss, aka John Berry, with Hello. Me. And we are going to be talking today about training and mindset, and just delving into sort of what we think about training, sort of our views on training, and just all the exciting bits in between. So welcome.
Hello. I have no idea what we're doing here. So she just grabbed me off the street, so come in.
We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. So obviously, I have spoken a little bit from previous episodes, just of sort of what I've done and sort of my bodybuilding journey as well. But obviously, what is training to you? Let's start there.
Oh, God. What is training to me? Well, why do I train, or...
Yeah, whatever it means. Like when you go in, like zoning in.
Yeah, for me, training is something special. So it kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, it's very hard. And if anyone's got a hobby out there, you know how exciting it is to get ready for a hobby or something you really enjoy. If you like playing football or something like that, you kind of get excited up until the point, then you're playing, you're excited while you're playing. For me, training's like that. It's something kind of like that gives me a buzz that nothing else gives me. So nothing can compare. I mean, I got into fitness from the age of like 8, so I was always in that sports mindset. So, you know, I always like to challenge myself, and for me, training is probably one of the most challenging things you can do, as you know. And I think it's kind of you against yourself. You're not relying on any team members or any other people helping you. It's you and the gym, or you and whatever sport it might be. So for me, it's kind of gives me something that not many things can give me. And then I just sort of vibe off that.
And it's quite powerful as well, I think, like knowing that you can improve you every single session without fail, and just seeing, okay, how can I make this a little bit better, or okay, because tomorrow that's going to be a better me, which I think is the best bit.
Every step you take doing something, every movement, every little rep you do is changing something, microscopic levels, but it's just changing you to be better at whatever you're doing. So the more you do something, the better you get at it. So for Emily, with vanity and training and performance, we have to do more of it to get better at it. So it's kind of like people think, oh, it's Monday, I better go to the gym. It's not the kind of right mindset you want to have.
You don't want the chore mindset.
No.
You want to be like, okay, I can go to the gym. I'm going to sort of just push more and more.
That's it. It's hard though, because I think some people, you start off in that negative mindset. It starts off like a chore. You're kind of thinking to yourself, I have to do this rather than I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think slowly over time, as you sort of fall in love with yourself a bit more and you get better at what you're doing, it becomes more like, this is amazing.
And I think it's the confidence it gives you more confidence to keep going.
Absolutely.
And I think as well, I think it comes from the chore side of things, because of like diet culture, and people are like, oh, I have to go to the gym because that's what's going to make me fit. I mean, it could be anything. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be gym training. Obviously, that's what we're sort of talking about more today. But it's, you know, don't think of it as a positive rather than a negative, because you're already going in with a negative mindset. Absolutely. So you're not going to sort of push in the same way.
Why do you train?
Why do I train? Oh, let's turn it around on me. Can't do that. I train just to be, I find it so, like when it's just me. No one else can do anything but me. And it's not down to someone else to know that I'm doing a lat pull down better than yesterday, or I can do that. And it's just knowing how, especially through my bodybuilding journey more so, it's it's just really powerful. And I think it's my mindset, which is more a testament that I've learned to myself, and that I can get better, and it will get better. But no one else is saying that for you because you're doing it. You're doing the work and no one else is. And it's just sort of seeing how far can you go, but no limit ever exists because you're always going to get better and you're always going to chase more and chase just being better. We're never satisfied.
No,
I think
no.
that
I think if
could
you
be a
were,
downfall.
it would be very boring. It'd be like a week in the gym and then you'd be done.
Yeah,
Look at me,
I've
I'm
completed
fantastic.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've won the gym.
I think what people need to kind of grasp is the fact that it doesn't matter what you're doing, even if you're just doing something, just some small thing once per day, whether it's kind of, I don't know, go as basic as just drinking water or something like that, but moving around, doing a little bit of exercise. Don't be thinking, yes, you have to go do Emily's workout in the gym. You don't.
No one needs to do that.
Doing something that you enjoy or just doing something is just going to just build you in that right direction. You might not see it week one. You know what, that saying is in like 1 week in the gym doesn't show, six weeks in the gym doesn't show, 6 months in the gym shows.
Now we're going somewhere.
Now we're making some changes. But it's kind of like, we're not saying that you have to go in all the time. It's me breaking glasses probably, I don't know. So it's just those small wins. Every day is a small win. So I think that's what makes it so amazing. What other thing can you think of, because we're mad for the gym obviously, that every single day we get an opportunity to be better and get that little bit of endorphin release, that little buzz.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's probably things we can't mention, but there isn't that something that's so accessible to just a little bit of work. Yeah.
And also it's thinking, like I always say this to clients as well. Okay, I don't care what you did yesterday, or okay, that's yesterday. It doesn't matter about that. What are you going to do today when you go in? Is it going to be better? Because you've got that opportunity to forget yesterday if you felt a bit low about it, or you could have done something a bit better or whatever. Okay, so you're going to do that today. And I think that's really powerful.
I care what you did yesterday and the day before and the day before. Yeah. And then when she checks in, I tell her off.
Making sure I'm doing what I'm told. But I think that you can always thinking I can improve. And that's possible, even if that improvement, like you said, is so minuscule.
Absolutely. So next time you're in the gym or you get up and you go out for a walk, just give yourself a well done. Yeah. That's 1 point.
You've done it.
That's it.
And as well, I think we obviously train we feel like we have to train with such a purpose. Absolutely. Everything we do has got to be to a T and to be the best. So it's actually, there are a lot of people that I think sort of don't feel that sort of purpose in training, or sort of just going through the motions. Whereas obviously if you can make that a more productive workout, obviously you sort of see all walks of life in the gym and sort of different passions behind it. Like I said, we're probably the abnormal people. Yeah. But it's that training with a purpose and actually like you're doing something and moving the body as well. We always, and I'm sure you've seen it, sort of people sort of swinging weights around, and it's sort of making like having, I don't know how to describe it, and just pushing sort of with that and actually knowing what you're doing as well.
It's a tough one because you don't want to say to those people, oi, what you're doing, because the fact that they're there
is huge.
It's huge anyway.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of like you want people to actually still benefit from the time that they're there. So
yeah,
it is very hard, but it's kind of like they should get reward for getting out of bed, putting the gym kit on, turning up there and stuff like that. But then the next step for them is, all right, can I do what I'm doing, but can I do it better?
Yeah.
Can I do it with some kind of like reward at the end of it, But I think you are right. I do think a big percentage of people just go because, one, it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Two, maybe they've been told that they need to go due to something. It could be a health thing, it could be a weight thing, it could be whatever. So they're
just by their friends.
Or just by their friends, oh, let's go down the gym.
Yeah.
And they still are not in that position to feel what we feel yet, because you need to challenge yourself. So you do need to challenge yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And it gets uncomfortable. And, amount of times I've taken people from the age of sort of 20 up to like 70 and given them a proper workout that suits them. And they leave going, that was the worst thing I've ever done. But I feel absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to butt in really quickly, just on the top of what you're saying. Do you think when people come to the gym, it's a culture thing, a bit like a club, hangout club?
Absolutely.
Not really working out, but they have the good vibe thing. I did a bit today,
That's it.
Hanged with a mate and went house.
They can put a social media post up, post by this, I did this.
Yeah.
Did they
it doesn't
really
count if you don't take a selfie.
Yeah, exactly. don't think I've ever taken a selfie. So, but I think it is. I think it's like nowadays the gym is sexy and popular, so people kind of want to be there because everyone else is now there. And I think that is kind of like where people used to find it like cool going out at the weekends. You're seeing more and more the trends towards gyms and posts and socials and stuff like that. But I still think that they're missing out on
so much potential.
The feeling it truly gives you, because turning up with your friends or just rocking up just because you know it's Friday and I normally do some legs and a cardio on a Friday. You're going through the motions, and over time you're actually going to lose interest because it's not challenging.
Yeah.
And two, you're not doing it for the right reasons. All it takes is just a little bit of a good push in the right direction.
Just to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
I'm going to throw some questions at you to why you're both there.
Go for it.
I get loads coming up here. I have held back.
No, you don't.
It's her podcast. But do you, like, for instance, when you're talking about working out, is it the kind of, when you think you've done a really good workout, is it you kind of feel where your muscles kind of feel bruised? Is that where you kind of think, I've done enough?
That's a good explanation. I like the fact that you use that as an explanation, because obviously that's your terminology coming through there. So yeah, like when everything feels sort of tight, sore, or full of blood, and you're like, which is probably that sort of bruise feeling that you're sort of talking about, that's great because you're challenging yourself at that point.
Yeah. And that's the pump, right?
That's it. That's
so
the
many
pump.
people are, I'm going to get a pump, but I think a lot of people don't actually know what that feeling is. And a lot of people will say, oh yeah, pump. And I'm like, is all that blood flow? I said, as soon as you work that muscle, when you can feel that burn and you push past that burn, that all that blood flow is going to go exactly to where you want it to, and that's what you can feel. That's why you feel swole.
that is a mechanism of hypertrophy. And before we get confusing with people, that just means that you're creating enough stimulus that the muscle's having to respond. And then from there, you're doing, like, imagine it as like damage. And imagine you've got a load of piano wires, hundreds of piano wires, and you're fraying a few of those piano wires. And then someone's going to go home and the pianist he's going to get you and he's going to be like, right, I'm going to put a few new extra piano wires in there to stop that from fraying again. So that's the muscle slowly over time. Poor analogy. I'm just trying to think of the top of my head.
I got told it like your muscle kind of tears and then it re-heals. So you have to have like a day off or a day rest. Like you talked about day rest before, wasn't it? 1 or 2 days off. Allow the muscles to then regain and kind of build.
Yeah.
Then you go again, kind of tears. And I suppose in a way, muscles kind of like, where I look at it, muscles kind of like elastic bands. If you work out constantly, you can stretch and get bigger. But then if you don't do it for a while, it kind of just slowly goes down, but you still kind of retain something.
Yeah, so you retain all the tissue, but what you do is that you lose the stored glycogen, which is carbohydrates, sugar, blood sugar, which fills the muscles with obviously water and basically glucose. So that keeps the muscles full. And if they're regularly taxed, all those nutrients, like Emily said, all the blood flow goes into those muscles and gives it a fuller filling. So when you're training regularly, you feel, all right, I can feel my biceps, I can feel my chest.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And you stop training and people think, oh, he's just lost all his muscle. No, his body is slowly deflated, like letting some air out of a balloon. It's still all there. You know, it will, you'll waste that tissue over time if you don't stimulate it. But you'd have to go some, like not eating and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's kind of like, you are right. You kind of do break it down as a microscopic level, and then the nutrients and the recovery, as that inflammation drops off, the muscles build back a little bit stronger and a tiny bit bigger, and then after 400 chest workouts you've got an extra half an inch on your chest. But it's
crazy how long it takes, and I think people underestimate it. Like, so many people say to me, oh, you're going to get huge now you're growing. No, I won't look much different when I next get on stage. But I said, it takes such a long time. I said, it takes a long time to get bulky, or as a lot of, from a female point of view, a lot of people say to me, and sort of, I don't want to put on muscle, but your strength training, so, that's what we want to work for, that toned look. We want that muscle to be present, to be able to achieve that and to sort of show it off as well. But
so have you been going to the gym?
I used to go to gym quite a bit because I like the feeling, like saying the pump feeling. Yeah. Going back to the car, I can feel like my arms kind of like, and then next day the achiness, and then the kind of like a little bit of pain there. I think, I like that. But then because my mindset, I get bored really quickly, especially in the gym. I have to make sure I'm focused on something. So I've been in and out, but I haven't kind of like sort myself out mindset to sort of be in there, because that is quite difficult for me.
The thing is, I think most people train The reason I keep backing away from the mic is my wife tells me that I breathe really loud from my nose, and every now and then I can hear myself go. So I do apologise to everyone out there. But I think the reason you kind of struggle to keep consistency is that I feel like your mindset's good to get started. You've got an idea of how you want to train. You kind of know what you're doing.
And also what you want to achieve. Like, okay, that's what's going to kickstart
That's
everything.
what starts it off.
Yeah.
But if you don't actually understand training and how it should progress and how it should change every time you step in the gym, you need to be slightly better than the session previous.
It's going to get quite boring.
You could get pretty bored,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I do the same thing as I did last week. And you've done it for 4 weeks, and you kind of think the pump was great at the start. I don't feel it as much now. I don't
look any different.
Yeah, I don't know. So someone like yourself, I'd be saying, okay, we probably need to put like an actual training plan in place that has progression each week. So every week it's slightly different, and there's a new challenge. So you're not going in going, doing those biceps again, you're like, oh shit, I've got to do an extra 2 reps and an extra set. Jesus, I hate John and Emily. Like, and then you leave with that same feeling again. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
And that same sort of muscle soreness because you've elevated the level of trauma that you've done. You've done one bit more than the previous.
And that's where log booking as
Correct.
well comes into play, and a lot of my team have introduced it and got used to it and really enjoying it because they know they're progressing, and that's the best thing about logbooking. And okay, well, I know I've got to match that or get better, or the notes that I make on my logbook are absolutely insane if anyone was to read it, but knowing that, okay, that was a little bit smoother, that felt a little bit easier, or the endurance was much better. All of those things are improvements as well, because you know you're going to get the most out of it, which is also a good way to recognize sort of how that training is being productive and sort of enjoying it as well to continue pushing.
So, I mean, from all these kind of talks and all things I've heard, kind of read and seen and stuff, I kind of feel that a PT or a coach is probably the best way of going about, rather than just going in the gym and just turning up.
Yeah.
My son's just joined the gym. Again, I think it's a culture thing for him. I think it's been there, a month, and now he's given up.
Yeah.
He's not kind of like really into it.
And I think if you don't, well, why would you do something that gives you no return after? In those first few weeks, it gives you return. Week 3, week 4, is anything happening? Am I just going and wasting an hour and a half of my time? And I think you're absolutely right. If you haven't got someone then to check in after that first week and say, hey, this is what I've done, and they go, that's great, but next week I need you to do more. You now go, oh shit. And then the week after you do more again. And then suddenly 5 weeks down the line, you look at yourself and you go, oh my God.
We're going places.
We're changing. Yeah. But if you do the same thing, and it's like, you're doing the same thing over and over and over to expect a different result, it's not going to happen. And weight training and the body is so clever, it just adjusts to the level of stimulus you're giving it. And it doesn't need to respond any more than that.
Yeah, because it's done the work.
It's done the work the initial sort of like first few weeks. So, and it's horrible to say to people, hey, look, I know you love going to the gym, and I know you just get in there and you do your cycle and then you do a couple of reps on the leg press and you feel good, but you could feel so much better just tracking it and just working a little harder. And it doesn't mean, and we don't mean lifting more weight every time. That could be one option, but you could do
so many.
One extra rep. You could pause in the stretched position of the rep. You could improve your range of motion. More range of motion with the load. You could improve your technique in that movement itself. Might be a little bit loose, a bit sloppy. You can add an additional whole set of those repetitions, and all these tiny little things that you can do.
It's a progression.
They're all progressions. Yeah. I even say to Em sometimes, all right, I want to know the time the training session took you. And she'll say 2 hours, knowing Emily.
And no longer than an hour and a half, you've said from the beginning.
90 minutes. And I'll say to her, I want you to do more work, but I still don't want to exceed that 90 minutes. So I know her output's up, but I don't want that then to knock on her performance. So we have to look at all those things. But that's where that's her coaching for complete composition change, muscle building, vanity, getting ready for a sort of like show. So that's a little extreme, but for someone like your son, it would be about telling him to get a little logbook, track his progress for 1 week, and then just try doing a little bit more. Really simple.
Or feeling better or feeling more confident.
Absolutely.
Even like you say with the sort of form as well, that you can sort of feel, oh, that didn't feel quite right, or I wasn't quite holding everything or my core as tight as much as I should have done. So this week I'm going to. And that in itself is huge, because already that movement's better than you did it last week or the session before, in whichever it is. And
Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah. So like people that are just going as like a club hangout thing, I think if you want to work out maybe work out on yourself, because obviously you've got the health things behind it. Then obviously when your body changes, then that's your kind of bonus.
That's it.
Rather than sort of go in and say, I want a six pack, you know.
That's it.
Yeah. And it's enjoying it. You've like, obviously the gym isn't for everyone. And I think, you know, people can go and after a few months think, do you know what, that actually this isn't for me, and that's okay. But equally give it like time. I think people sit on it and like, I'm not really doing it. I think keep at it, like keep going, you know, and that's where, again, having a coach or a PT is just like your cheerleader to be like, you're doing great, keep going. I know it doesn't feel too much, just stick with it. And that's where obviously consistency comes more than anything else.
We don't say you're doing great all the time though. So just
well, you've got good.
You're doing great, but do more.
Just in case anyone signs up to our coaching, it's like, why are you so horrible? As I get told.
Yeah. But I think it's having that discipline with it as well, and having an outsider, whether it's a PT or like in person or online coach, it's sort of showing them your logbook and sort of being confident to explain the training and the details of that, what you're struggling with. Because again, if you've got struggles and you're not communicating it, it's like, you know, or even if you're in the gym, you don't have a coach, if there's someone walking around or you're really not feeling unsure of how a machine works, ask, because you're going to get better at it and it'll be better again.
If we use Emily, for example, as all three of us know who we are, like, Emily went from training before.
Yeah.
What did you notice changed when you came on board with me? What things?
I mean, prior to starting with you, I was kind of like in the abyss of like, I have no idea. I kind of know what I want to work towards, but I have no idea how it's going to go, and having no expectation, which made it even better because this season was just ridiculous. But it's the shift of knowing that improvement. I think it was when, okay, logbook, you this is your session. You have to do this and more every single week. You can match it, but something has to get better. And it doesn't have to be the whole session, which I think also people get confused about. Like, you don't have to be the best at absolutely everything. You don't have to improve on absolutely everything. You know, just one or two progressions throughout that whole session is going to make such a difference. And it's having that as well, and knowing the capabilities of, okay, I know I am pushing more, and nothing went backwards. I know, and one session it felt like it did, and I almost lost my mind over it. But again, then the next day I thought, okay, that was yesterday, we do it again.
Do you think you could know what you know? Well, say let's go back. Do you think you could get where you were today without a coach and just learning from books and stuff?
No, not in the same way. Not in the same way. And I think, you know, from like what I thought I knew about training, like, yeah, I went a good few times a week, and I always will vouch for myself. I did always train hard. Given, was it perfect to what I know now? Absolutely not. But then to where I am now and what I've learned, I wouldn't be in the same position. And I think from like my previous coach, from John, I was like, John's got me till one of us dies. So I was like, I'm here for life. But I think even the progression from the first shoot that we worked towards to then coming out of it to then going into a shoot prep, the stage prep, sorry, it's the changes is just ridiculous. And I think the biggest thing, and we always say about it, is she said to me on my shoot day, you know, you're never ever going to be this weight and this composition ever again. Yeah, you know, so you might have that same weight come about, but you're not going to look the same, because you're going to have an entirely different look, because what we're striving for in training and pushing for muscle growth and, you know, suiting the look for what we were going for in the stage as well. Obviously, that is, again, the extreme versions of it. But again, anyone can sort of have that. You can have the same weight, but look entirely different when you really start pushing your training, even whether it's lifestyle or shoots or stage or whatever. Yeah,
it's that thing. It's like coaches are great. There's a lot of good and bad coaches out there, and it's not that they're bad. I don't think they're bad intentionally. I think what's kind of happened is someone has gone and got a coach. They've learnt some bits and pieces from them. They've helped them do a diet or a shoot or whatever, and then they think that that's all the knowledge they need, and then they now go and sort of kind of overlap that information and pass it down sort of generically across their clients. And they're the ones that kind of get to a certain point and think, shit, this isn't working. Like this lady's not responding. That's it. Yeah. And they put it on the client, maybe, you know, because that's an easier way out. But it's, you know, it's tough, because for me, for coaching Emily, the first time I worked with her, I don't know what she's going to be like. You know, she could be a pain in the bum. She could wing her training sessions. She might not eat what I ask her to eat. I don't know. I'm going to know, because I've been doing it for long enough, but I need to trust her for 23 hours out of the day. and I get 1 hour a day just to keep my eye on her. But it's kind of like, I couldn't be good at my job if she wasn't good at being my client. So she's a great athlete, which makes me a better coach. So you kind of, it's 50-50.
And I always like, you know, you could give me the plan, but if I didn't do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, you got the reward of seeing what she achieved.
Oh yeah, I get very excited. Yeah. I think I get more excited than, no, maybe not Emily, but like more excited than most of them. But I could give you a gold-plated training plan right now that would be the best way to train specifically for you. But if you did that at like a 4 out of 10 and then didn't really care about your nutrition behind the scenes, it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But on a flip note, if I gave you a gold standard nutrition plan, even if you stuck to like 80% of that, the visual change and reward would be massive. It wouldn't really matter what you're doing training wise. So what
people underestimate the
power
nutrition
of nutrition.
Side of things,
yeah, you know, and I know we're going to get to that on another podcast.
Yes, yeah.
But it's kind of like the training is kind of like one of those points, you know, on a pyramid. Let's say nutrition is another one, recovery is the final one, and they all have their place, but nutrition kind of leads the way. You know, once that's in the background, it's like if let's say we're all Formula One cars, or whatever cars people like, racing cars of some sort.
We'll go Formula One.
And I've got a full tank of petrol. Emily's got half, and you've got a quarter. Well, I'm going to do more laps than you, which means I can do more, and I'm going to be better round the track over and over again. And it's the same with nutrition. If you've got and we're using full tank as a good nutrition plan, then I'm able to do more. I'm able to see more. Whereas if Emily's got half a tank, which let's say she's following the nutrition plan sort of on and off, she's going to get some results, but not everything.
Not everything
it's definitely a science, because also it's understanding your body, what you eat, and then also how that will plan your workout.
Absolutely.
And also your mindset to it. Like, if you want to push for the results that you want, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you've got to stick to. And but equally, like, if you want to chill or you want to sort of have a more relaxed, and that's a part of your goal, amazing. But like I say this pretty much every day to a lot of people, don't be disappointed about the results of the work that you didn't do. Like, if you do the work, you'll get the results. Supposedly, obviously, in hope that obviously the coach that you're working with is sort of pushing for those results that you want to get. But equally, if you're here and there, or didn't quite hit steps, or didn't, you know, yes, okay, one day of missing one step, fine. But, you know, if you did that every day or for 6 weeks, you know, it's going to make quite a big difference. And I think that's what people understand. Like, yes, you can be relaxed, but do you want to be relaxed about your goals? Because that's what the outcome will be as well.
It's that thing. It's like, if anything's hard, it's doing something. So following the diet, this is a little hard. Good. Something's happening. It's working.
Yeah.
This training, this is a little hard. Good. The body's in an uncomfortable position. It's going to have to adapt to that discomfort and change. So it's kind of like, if you're training or doing something and it's pure enjoyment and you don't want to see any vanity and you're not chasing anything other than you like to go there, like to be with your friends.
Just moving, yeah.
And you want to move, phenomenal. That's amazing. And that is that's the bit you're getting from it. You feel great that you've gone. We're kind of talking more to the audience that wants to make changes. You know, when I work mostly with competitive athletes and now recently more lifestyle people that are taking on huge weight loss challenges and stuff like that, you know, because I want to help them get from point A to point B. So by the time they're at point B, they can run around with their kids more, they can do more, they feel better, they feel sexier, whatever it might be. But it's kind of, I have to say to them, you're going to get, I always say to the guys, I say, get ready to, you know, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I say it all the time. So it's kind of like you've got to embrace the discomfort.
Yeah.
So something has to be hard. If the diet's easy, the training's easy, something's not quite right.
Or something then has to change.
Yeah. You might be mentally like, yes, I'm really good at training and I can eat everything. And yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But it still needs to be like, if for all of you that know Ems and you've seen some of her sessions, I push her beyond the point of comfortable, way beyond it.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, I can't find it. Yeah. And it's to the point where Ems will even say to me, "Oh God, I haven't had a session with you in a while, and I'm nervous about it." Good. Then I'm doing my job, right?
I get scared. If it's a leg day with John Berry, I can't walk for a week. And I train like,
you train very hard.
I try my hardest to push, and I think as well. And I say that to clients that have one-to-one. Okay, it's hurting. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like if people for like online coaching, you know, oh, I've had a really busy week. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Like, you know, okay, your goal doesn't care, so you got to do it. And I think that's what people really find difficult. Yes, okay, if we have extra busy lives or we have kids, there are, we don't have to necessarily go to massive extremes, but, you still got to, like you say, push, because if you're just staying in the same place, you're going to stay in the same place.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's going to change if you don't.
What made you want to get into training?
Change my weight a bit, kind of look where I used to look when I was like,
younger kind of thing.
Yeah. And just kind of feel more healthy and stuff.
That's it. I think it all starts with that. And we're all honest. For all of us, it's a little bit of vanity.
Yeah.
We all want to look better. It doesn't matter to anyone else, to ourselves.
Yeah.
And you want to feel, like you said, you know how you felt, back when you were younger. And you have all of the tools to do it. It's just it's amazing for me, because it's kind of like,
you get that out of everyone.
Yeah, we can say, awesome, if that's truly what you want, do you know what? We can do it. But get ready to work. And I think a lot of people, and I don't mean this horribly, but there's people out there, and I'm talking to those people, they don't like to work hard, or a little bit of hard work scares them. So they quit before they fail, kind of thing, the journey. And we see it all the time, but it's such a shame, because the gym is a convenient, cheap tool. Walking is for free.
Yeah.
Drinking water is for free. All these kind of things. Well, unless you buy bottles of water, but but it's kind of like you have all of these tools at your hands. You can achieve anything. There's levels of it. So it's, for us, I think, like Em said, we're a little wired a little differently. So for me, if there's a goal needed, okay, cool, I'll just switch that part of my brain on and I'll do the work. So I mean, and it's tough. Like, it would just want people to sort of realize there's so much reward that can come from it. But yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
And you hear it all the time. I've got a guy going for a 4-hour walk this weekend somewhere with his wife, and he was said to me, I'm going for this 4-hour walk. Can I change my diet that day and put some carbs in? And I messaged back saying, no. Going to do your 4-hour work, and just enjoy yourself. And I said, that's a one-off day. That day doesn't dictate anything else needing to be changed.
Yeah.
Stick to the plan, enjoy your 4-hour walk, and we'll carry on. But he in his mind,
let me know how you feel when you get back.
Yeah, he's like, shit, I can make this easier by eating X. Don't make it easier.
Yeah,
just get out there just get out there and work.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, because I normally suffer quite a lot on my back pains, especially when the winter is getting more colder. Like getting up, I've always had that, because I had a disc issue many years ago. So I had somebody helping tell me how I shouldn't get in and out of bed, because it was that bad. To the point where it's like a trapped nerve, but it wasn't a trapped nerve, but it's painful. So when it comes out more winter time, my back aches more. But then I started doing a lot of walking, did some gym stuff as well. But mainly the walking was actually helping that to be better.
Yep.
So there's improvement there, but I just got to get my mindset, because I get bored really quick, and that's the bit I got to get over. Then I can happily go in. I don't mind the hard work. I don't mind the feeling, the bruising after. I love all that kind of stuff. Like, so I kind of get an idea with you say about the pump and stuff.
That's it.
And I think as well, it's making it exciting. Like even on everyone's how did you do your cardio and prep? Like I did when obviously this is for a stage prep. It's very different. Like I was spending an extra 2.5 hours out of my day stepping and cardioing. So I got to make it somewhat exciting. Okay, in the mornings, I don't go on my phone. Okay, I'll use it as my reply time. If I'm on a walk, okay, podcasts, listen to this one. And listening to music, and I put on the cheesiest of songs when I'm training, because by the end of it, I was knackered. So I've got to get something to get me buzzing. And it's all of those things. And it also might be a little bit boring at the same time, but okay, and it can be tough, but then knowing, again, going back, okay, why do I actually want this, is always a good one to come back to kind of keep driving you, because that's what started it. So that's what will keep it going.
For all of you out there that want some good gossip on Emily and find step targets hard, so I'd give Emily a step target in her prep. Now, most people would check in and say, I did 10,000 this day, 11,000 this day, 9,000 this day. I get videos of Emily walking around her lounge, doing laps around her lounge, from her partner at the time, just sending me saying, don't worry, Bron, she's getting her steps in. And I'm like, good. But that is just extreme, right? That's fantastic, because Ems knows that she needs to have that accountability. She needs to check in with me, and I'm going to ask her why, because I want her to improve. And we're obviously being way more strict when we're talking about something like this than what the average person needs to do. But that's 100 times better, and I'm way more proud of that than someone just sending me the check-in where Monday it was too low, so I didn't log in.
I was a bit tired.
You know, and I'm like, hey, I've got people running up and down their stairs, you know, doing extra walks. You know, even when my wife had her step target, she's like, we got 3 floors. So she'll just be going up and down all 3 floors. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are we going to sit down and watch some Netflix? And she's like, I've got 1,000 steps to go. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So,
you know, and I find that as well, like you pay a coach and, you know, that the targets are set. They've set you the target because you're going to get to your goal because that's what, so do it.
We don't make it up.
No.
But, you know, so.
But it's obviously adhering to the goal that you want to push for. Again, if you want to be a bit more relaxed, like that's cool, but you've told me you want to hit a goal, so let's do it. Like, let's go. And I think people, it's coming to terms with that and actually being accountable for your own actions as well.
I have a challenge.
Oh no. Here we go.
For this young man over here.
Oh, thanks.
You know, I say young to, you know, and so I know we're going to be doing a few more podcasts.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we need to set like a little mini challenge for you, like of getting in the gym, doing your walking, you know, even if it's something like 3 times a week, 3 little walks, 3 little training sessions, because the only person you're going to thank is yourself. And you'll just feel like 100 times better because right now you're saying, hey, when I was doing it, I liked the pump, my back felt better. Already you're giving me reasons why it was great to do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you think to yourself, sometimes people go, oh, I felt amazing when I was doing my food plan or I was doing my training. And I'm like, you doing it now? And they're like, no, I feel like shit. And I'm like, well, what do you expect?
There you go.
Am I allowed to swear on it?
Yes.
I'm really trying to hold back on everything. So, and I think it's that thing. It's kind of like, hey, look, just get up, do a little bit of work, feel better about yourself, and the confidence difference.
And that's what it is.
You know, it's
when
amazing.
When you have that confidence in yourself, you have confidence for
everything. Yeah.
Like everything. Even if that's having a conversation with someone else in the gym or having a conversation. I don't know, with absolutely, the list could be endless, but I think when people underestimate, when they're confident in themselves, everything in their life is better.
Oh yeah.
Like without a doubt.
It's that thing. It's like if you can get up on the days you don't want to get up and do a walk, if you can get up and go in the gym on the days you don't want to train, they're the days that are most important, right? Because everyone, you know, runs off motivation and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just discipline. I'm a bit more of a discipline than a motivation person. Here's the work that needs to be done. Let's get it done and let's feel amazing about it. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 8 weeks down the line, we are laughing. We're in a great spot. So it's kind of like just saying to people, you know, just get up, just do a little bit. You have full control because if you can take on anything.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do anything else anywhere because this is the hardest thing to do. And it will
teach you that your mindset can do anything as well.
You're strong.
Yeah. Which is one of the things that I learned. So yeah.
Was that a yes to the challenge?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I've been kind of changing recently before you guys come on a podcast anyway. So I park more further away from Camberley. I walk in. So each time I kind of progress more.
It's all those little things that add up hugely.
Yeah. When my little girl was at school, it's on the back of Watchet's Fields. So I used to walk around there. I got to a point where I was walking there, and by the time I finished, she was coming out of school. So I kind of got into that momentum.
Yep.
So that kind of when my mindset was kind of there. But then when she left school, I've gone back since. But I have been trying to now say, like, park further away, I'll walk in.
Yeah, that's good.
And just keep progressing.
And my favourite thing is, like, go into the shops. Just look. Go down every aisle. It counts. Yeah. It works.
Park away from the shops.
Yeah.
You know, it is obviously, yes, you want to park like close to it.
Yes, if it's raining, okay, you'll get a little bit wet. Walk into the shop.
For the people out there, if you are, especially the male ones, if you are you're married, go shopping with your missus because she puts you down all the different aisles.
Yeah, exactly. Sends you for things that she doesn't even want, and you just walk back, put them back. You know,
Yeah, all the steps.
That's it.
And I always say to clients, I'm like, well, if you're hydrated and ticking that box, you'll have even more steps because you were going to the loo more. It counts, you know.
It's those little things.
They add up so much.
Like, I think it's great that the fact that even you recognise how you're feeling a little bit better, and even the fact that you park away, you're trying to already right now change your mindset.
Yeah.
Because if you're already doing that, okay, that's step one. Okay, can you make this a little bit more efficient for you? Okay, we could do a little bit more here, and the result is tenfold back. and it's just slow and steady. Everything's slow and steady. Nothing is fast.
Yeah.
Not
If
at
it's
all.
fast, it's more likely to go as quick as it's come.
And I always think, what is the rush? A lot of people, and I have clients, and you've 100% had the same, of people being like, that's not very much of a drop.
Oh, yeah.
Or, if they're if that's the sort of data part that we're focusing on, and actually it's like, no, that's like, come on, like that's huge. Like that's a step closer to the goal that you're pushing for, and I think people underestimate as well and expect this big thing to happen really quickly,
Yeah.
But if it happens over a longer period of time, isn't that better? Because you're sustaining it.
Yeah, that's
well.
it.
I suppose the way you can come off and say to people, it's not a short-term fix. You got to look for that long-term fix. If you want to lose a dress size or a trouser size, it's a long-term.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to be a quick fix.
People can do quick fixes or quick transformations, but understand that is more of a manipulation of fluid and stored glycogen, like we were saying a minute ago. Probably not all of it's body fat, but yeah, we can shift someone's visual look within a couple of weeks. But then it's the couple of weeks that follow on from that they really do the long-term benefits.
Yeah. And it's like, because people see that drop. Oh, I've done it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, you might do, I don't know, if I give an example, someone might say, let's say someone's done 5 hours of cardio, like walking or whatever, and they've done 4 hours of weight training.
Over the week?
Yeah, not one day.
I was going to say, I think people might be a bit confused on that one.
This is the new plan for you. And then they've kind of stuck to their nutrition, and they'll check in and go, I've lost 1 pound. That doesn't seem worth all the work. And I'll go look at 1 pound of meat.
Yeah.
Just go look at how much fat, let's say if we're calling all of that fat, that you potentially could have lost. And then now let's times that by 10 more weeks. Even if it stays at 1 pound, which is, there's nothing wrong, that's good. Then 10 pounds of fat off your frame for 10 weeks of just doing, it might seem like you're doing a lot, but at the end of the day, we don't know how much Emily has to do to achieve X. It might be different to me, might be different to you, might be different to the listeners. Yeah. So it's kind of like, we don't know.
What are you comparing? What's good?
Yeah, we don't know. It's like, I was trying to explain to a female, like my wife, I don't want to sort of bring her in. She'll tell me off. You mentioned my name.
We love you.
Yeah, and the last few weeks of my prep, I'm doing sort of 90 minutes to 2 hours of cardio 7 days a week. And I'm doing 2 hours of weight training once in the morning and another 90 minutes in the evening, five times a week on that. And you start tallying up like how much actual work that is. And, you're looking at 20, 30 hours of training a week, and you think to yourself, Jesus Christ, and I'll be losing 0.5 of a pound.
Yeah.
And people are like, is all that worth it? Hell yeah. Like, because I've already achieved so much by this point.
Yeah.
Those extra small little changes mean a lot to me. That's extreme. And I'm not.
And I think as well, it's really important to highlight within that, like it changes because your body composition changes.
Well.
So, but also, like, I love your analogy of like, if two cars are going at the same pace, but one's sort of current, as soon as you sort of, that weight starts to shift, you've got to keep putting in the work but the amount of work is going to change with that as well. So I wasn't doing as much cardio, as I was at the start to the end.
Yeah.
But again, over time, it was those 0 point of a pound, 0 point of all of those little things that added up. Yes, it was over a crazy long period of time, but that's what I say to people, oh, you look great. Well, it wasn't quick.
No.
It was really long, again, to the extremes. But, people think, it doesn't, why are you working to a 4-week goal? Make it 12
Absolutely.
weeks, and, you can really push and have the time to put in and understand the nutrition and everything and the training side of it for that goal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the next
That's
subject?
fine. Yeah.
Sorry, we've gone off on one.
Good. So obviously, we've set Jack a challenge. So maybe that's the challenge for anyone else listening as well. Just in terms of that mindset, and I think it's important to highlight you can do it. Like, it takes a lot to physically be able to be like, I can't do it. Don't say that is your most hated word in the world, because why can't you do it? And I think that's really important, and to leave sort of, I think this podcast episode with, and sums it up pretty well.
It does. You got I want to keep talking, but I'm terrible. So it's kind of that thing. I always tell people off for using the wrong choice of words with stuff like, I can't do this. You can't use that word. That means something you physically cannot do. You have no hands, no legs. You physically can't go for a walk. You can do this. The right response to that would be maybe I don't want to,
or I'm not prioritizing it.
Yeah, I found that quite hard. So I couldn't at that time. But it's kind of like, I think people just feel like it's an easy way to say, nah, I couldn't do that. I'm too busy. No, you can. You can, and if you want to, the option is there. You will do it.
And also, if you want it that bad, you will
do it.
You will.
You do. I do think that sometimes, I think people just get scared of how much that they think there's so much more involved, and they have to do so many things and follow this eat no food and do all this exercise.
No, we love
but
food.
You don't. Yeah. It would be probably shock to people like how well you can eat and respond. It's just about consistency. And we had this chat before the podcast. Yeah. I said to Ems, most diets, they all kind of work, whether it be Slimming World, low fat, low carbs, whatever. They all work as long as they have adherence. Or even a certain, if it fits your macros, or tracking on MyFitnessPal, as long as there's some consistency there on adherence, the body over time will respond. So you don't need looking for a special diet or a special way to eat.
Gotta stick to it.
Just stick to whatever works for you and whatever you like to eat, as long as, burgers and chips 3 times a day, I know you might like it, that's not going to work. But it's just about understanding that it's just consistency is the biggest thing when it comes to training or getting a response from training. So sorry, I know.
No, it's good. No, I think that sums it up pretty well, and just highlighting that consistency part. And I think a lot of people miss that, okay, 1 week, okay, cool, do it again. Okay, do it again, and repeat. And then tell me sort of the results aren't working.
So we definitely got a yes from that challenge, didn't we?
Yes, it's coming.
Can I hear it?
Yeah, go for it.
Whoa, yeah, good man.
But yeah, no, well, thank you. And obviously we've got another episode to come, so stay tuned. A big thank you for joining me on my channel and tuning in. Find me on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Amazon and YouTube, A Diary to Empower. Follow me on Instagram, m_power.fitness, and TikTok, m.ibert. See you on the next episode.